1991. I land on planet Earth. No instructions, no map, just the vibes. Then I'm around 6 or 7 years old, a very brave man obviously, and somehow my world connects to London. Not through travel or family, but through imagination and cartoons. Actually one of my favorites, Madeleine in London. I don't know why, but it stayed with me. You know, when you are a kid, things are simple and imagination does job, right? London equals amazing life. No questions asked. A few years later, football enters my life. And suddenly that connection becomes stronger. I start supporting Liverpool FC. Why? One name. Jerzy Dudek. A Polish goalkeeper in the Premier League? Oh man, that was enough for me. It felt like a bridge between where I was and where I imagined I could be. And that feeling stayed with me for years, quietly in the background, until I got older. And reality started to reshape that dream. I began to think about it more seriously and the thoughts changed. I wouldn't fit there, I'm too shy. I don't speak English well enough. I don't have anything special to offer. And then there was another layer, the stories. Stories about what Polish guys have been doing there. I mean the things you are ashamed of. Then stories about crimes, thieves, aggression, others people's life failures. Even though I had never been there, those images started to shape how I saw the city and the country overall. So London became something complicated, still fascinating, attractive, but also distant. And if I'm being honest, it wasn't just about the place. It was a question, can I be part of this world? Then, after all those years, I finally went there. It was about 15 years later. I just booked a flight to London, no big expectation, no big plan, just curiosity. And maybe something small still pulling me there. I went there with my wife, and almost immediately something felt different. Not in a dramatic way, more like something quickly clicked on the place. The city felt alive, fascinating, inspirational. We spent most of the time just walking. No pressure, no strict plan, just exploring. And what stayed with me the most was not any specific place, it was a feeling. Every street had its own rhythm. Every cafe felt like it had a story. Even random corners felt international or something. And somewhere in between all of that, the walking, the observing, the small moments, the city stopped feeling like an idea and started feeling real. But at the same time, I was still me, still a bit cautious, still a bit closed, not walking around late at night, not going to pubs. Partially because I'm introvert and partially because all those earlier stories. Because when something lives in your head for years, it doesn't disappear instantly. So even though I was there was still a small distance. The trip was short, just 3 nights. But when I came back home, I knew one thing. I want to return. And I didn't wait long. A few months later I came back, this time with my colleague Patrick. And this trip felt different from the beginning. Because now the city wasn't completely unknown, but more importantly, I had a reason to be there. I came to attend WebflowCon. So the conference for geeks as I am in terms of the web design and web development. And that's changed everything, because suddenly I wasn't just visiting the city, I was stepping into a world I had been watching for years. Designers, founders, creators, people I had only seen online now standing right next to me. At some point something shifted. I had my camera with me, so I started recording, taking pictures, capturing moments. But not for myself. So I created content and shared it with Webflow team, with no expectations. And then they noticed, they responded, we had a chance to chat a little bit, and some of my work was even used publicly by them. For me, that moment meant more than I expected, because it made something very clear. Maybe the situation didn't have to be perfect. Maybe I didn't have to be the most confident person in the room. Maybe I already had something to offer, in my own way. But at the same time, another part of me was still there. The part that hesitates. Because even when I want to talk to people, there is always a moment of doubt. And when English becomes part of that, it gets even stronger. I overthink how I sound, what I say, whether it makes sense. So even surrounded by inspiring people, it was some kind of distant, an invisible barrier between me and them. And maybe that's exactly why this experience matters so much. Because nothing suddenly changed. I'm still introvert, I still hesitate, I still feel uncomfortable sometimes, but something else changed. For this time, I had evidence. that maybe I was wrong about myself. For years, London was never just a place for me, it was a question. Can I be part of this world? Not because of the city, but because of how I saw myself. And this trip didn't turn me into a different person. It gave me something I didn't have before, so a different answer. Not a confident yes, not yet, but also not a no anymore. And maybe that's where everything starts.